Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we put a pause on our offensives last episode because we have a big lack of tanks, and that big lack of tanks still absolutely exists. If we hop in here, we can see we need 38,365 tanks. Now, I've done a little bit of moving things around off camera. I've deprioritized some airplanes. I've added a few more truck manufacturers. I've also moved this guy down, and yeah, there's going to be a little bit of additional tank production. We're negative on our chromium right now. I'm not sure if that's real, though. Let's kick forward for a day here. It might be real. Let's give it a full day. Okay, no, it's not real. It is fake. So that is good. That is absolutely great. Now that we know that, that is fine. So we need about 38,000 tanks to fully restock our reinforcements here. That is a-okay. So with that in mind, we're going to want to keep our offensives halted for a little while here while we reconsolidate. No doubt about that. Now, you can also see here that we need 21,605 trucks. I've increased our production of trucks somewhat, but also I've gone around off camera and I've demotorized a lot of supply hubs that were motorized but are no longer necessary. And actually, this is one of those. There we go. So I've just done something along the lines of that. For all of our old theaters where we're not currently fighting, I missed this one, apparently, as well as some of these. Okay, apparently I wasn't too thorough about it. I'm not shocked about that, though. I've done it for a lot of these areas, but there's probably some that I've missed here and there. So we'll get those as we notice them, but we've already significantly reduced our demand for trucks. So that is absolutely fine. Now, this area up over here is still being worked on. We're bringing the Marines in, and their soft attack should be useful for dealing with this area, in theory. Yeah, their soft attack is definitely doing well here. So that's great. We're going to need more supply in this area. And is this well connected to our supply network? The answer is yes, it is. Okay. So that seems absolutely fine. No problem at all there. We're just going to continue to press in here. That seems fine. We have built up a location over here where we can have a stalled line in Canada. That's perfect. And a stalled line in France as well. That is exactly what we're looking for. We do not want to have significant gains at this moment. We're going to be doing some construction, and as you can see, I've changed the order of this around a little bit. But the only place we're really attacking right now is in Norway. British Raj has deciphered our ciphers, and that's fine. We're going to continue to upgrade our cryptology department for right now. Not enough manpower or equipment. Okay, we're lacking trucks. We are working on trucks. So that is absolutely fine. Trucks are being worked on slowly here. I say slowly. We're making 75 trucks a day. That's a pretty hefty amount of trucks every single day. Now, 37,637 tanks. That would be about right, wouldn't it? Because we're making 38 plus 32, so call that 60, plus an additional 6, or not 60, call that 80, so that's like 86 per day. That's not bad. This is going to continue to optimize up in both of these locations a little bit, so that seems reasonably good. We are definitely making a good number of tanks every day. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit over a year, I think, before we work through this deficit. So that is absolutely noted. There's a naval invasion in northwestern Iberia, apparently, as well as one up over here. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. We may need to send forces over to go deal with those. But for the moment, we're far more interested in getting these guys dealt with here, right? So one of those naval invasions went away. Now it's just the one in northwestern Iberia. This is the scarier one anyway. So over here, this is in theory going to be right here where we kicked it out previously. So that seems reasonably fine. Now our Navy is, I think, in really, really bad state right now. Yeah, I'm not shocked about that. So we're losing the naval combat for the moment, but the naval combat is really not a focus. We're not too concerned about that one, in all honesty. So we're continuing to attack through here and kick them out of Norway eventually. These guys are not advancing, These don't need to. But these guys should advance up to the front. Come on up here, Marines. We need all the Marines we can get. Now, the one thing that we could think about doing is pulling some of these troops out. But I think it'll be okay. This railway connection is going to be changed over in 1 day. And once we get this supply hub built, that's going to be pretty significant for this region. So, there's that railway connection done. That should be a level 5 railway. Yes, that is absolutely correct. And when are we going to have this done? 27 December? Okay. That's going to be quite a while. We might want to have these guys come down here and start attacking here. If we can get this naval base, that would be absolutely huge. So let's start marching our Marines down this way. We are being attacked here for the moment, but that's not going to last too long. Any moment now. There we go. And we're still heading on down. Now, we can see people got pushed out here. And the Marines will arrive here, but they are not arriving here first. We pushed out the unit that they had here, though, and there's a unit of Marine here. They're going to get pushed out. We've got additional forces on the way here, though. And we're going to push these guys out, in theory. They have more forces on the way in. Okay. Where's this dangerous naval invasion? Southern Norway? Down over here? Okay, that's noted for now. That is absolutely fine for the moment. Let's check in on our tank quantities that we need. 36,000 now. So, hi, console. So we're definitely making some good gains here in theory. We're trying to push these guys back, although I don't know that this is going to go all that well at this moment. Yeah. I'm going to stop this attack for the moment. We were just a little late in getting there. So for now, this is okay. We're just going to hold this position. We may want to consider digging in here. I am noticing that this army is not quite where we want them to be. We want them to be a little bit more spread out here. So I want this front line to go all the way down. There we go. So, where exactly is this supply hub at? Back there? Okay. Noted. Absolutely noted. So at this point, we've got these infantry divisions. They're going to go in, say, here? Yes, that seems about right. These guys are, of course, down here. And they've got this pretty much taken care of, actually. We just need to stack wipe these units. So that is reasonably dealt with. I like it. What do we have going on over here? These guys look stack wipeable, so I'm going to grab these units and tell them offensive line right here. They can get going on that. Fantastic. And we'll just continue to push through here for now. So that looks reasonably good at this time. We can see that there are naval invasions going on here that we are winning. That is great. And this has actually happened. Okay. I'm going to grab these units and I'm going to put them into a new area here. We're going to tell them to frontline here, with their goal being to simply offensive line down here. Okay. Get in there. Fantastic. That'll also potentially pull some of the pressure over here from the units that were here, which would be good. Some of the supply pressure for down this way. So fingers crossed, let's see how that ends up going. We could pull a tank unit down this way. And actually, I'm strongly considering doing that. We pull a tank unit down here, tell them no more orders for you. We are going to move you up here, with your goal being to offensive line like this. So they're going to make their way around. That's okay. We're going to continue to attack this. I don't think we'll have any problem getting rid of these guys necessarily. In theory. Dangerous naval invasion in the Caribbean. Okay. I'm not terribly concerned about this right now. We'll see how that goes. These guys should move back into this force. So there we go. That'll do. Okay, we're auto-saving, and this attack appears to have been unsuccessful for them. checking in down over here. Oh, they've managed to establish a bit of a beachhead here. That is obnoxious, but not the end of the world. I'm going to pull our tank unit here, because we're not planning to attack here. I'm going to pull our tank unit down over this way. They're going to front line here, with the goal being to offensive line like this. They can do that as soon as they arrive. So they're on their way. That will be absolutely fine. Up over here, we have some successful attacks occurring. That looks good. And tanks heading through to this line. We'll allow them to get their organization up a bit, but I want to get this cleaned up, so getting the tanks over here is going to be of vital importance. We can do limited tank attacks at this point, and that is absolutely fine. I want these guys here. There we go. So that looks good for the moment. We're going to continue to attack here, but we're just waiting on these tanks to get into position, as well as waiting for them to recover their organization a little bit. But that's not going to take too long. So that looks good. These tanks are stack wiping this over here, as expected. No problem whatsoever there. These guys are now going to head back over here. They're going to have their offensive line be back to here-ish. It doesn't have to be perfect, but something along the lines of that. I'm not going to tell them to get started on that, though. Okay, the tank unit up here. How arrived are they? I think they're arrived enough. Get going. Beautiful. So we're going to do a limited tank attack here, looking to push some of these units out. That looks good. We've got more units out over here. So these guys require orders, and their orders are to rejoin whatever it was over here. Whatever unit it was. This unit? No. What unit was it that was supposed to defend this area? Maybe there wasn't a unit that was supposed to defend this area. Okay, in that case, these guys should probably be redirected into, say, one of these units here, like this one. Okay, that'll do for now. So off they go. We're seeing successful attacks rolling through here, and this should not be putting us negative in our tank account, or our tank amount, I should say. So all we need to do is press in here, get these tanks ready to go. Yeah, these supplies are grim, and to that end, I'm going to pull our Marines out of here. I'm going to tell our Marines to come down here and garrison this area for the time being. Area defense here is not necessarily ideal, but the British have tried to attack there a number of times, and I want them to make their way down. Okay, so away they go. Perfect. So, we're making solid gains over this way at this point, it looks like, and pulling those units out will, of course, be beneficial for our supply. We just need to get them out of here for the time being. More tanks are on their way in, and we're seeing some level of successful attack here. I would certainly like to see more successful attacks, but it'll be a little bit before our tanks really arrive. We should maybe consider... Oh, they are on aggressively execute. Okay. Out in the Bismarck Sea, this doesn't actually look all that dangerous. We've got that under control. No issue there, in theory. So that looks good for the time being. Let's check in on our tank count. We need about 35,000 at this point. Okay. And we're definitely working through that truck deficit. We need about 18,000 more of those. That is improving quickly. So that looks very solid. And let's just continue to take back this territory over here. I would love it if we were focusing primarily on Christensen here. We're not doing that, though. We're just attacking all across this front. And for the time being, that seems relatively fine. Their supply levels are definitely dropping. There's no doubt about that. Cool. So we still have Marines making their way out of here and tanks making their way in. So that's reasonably fine for the moment. It's 24 October right now, so this supply hub is not going to be ready for a while yet. We'll see if it ends up even being necessary. But they're getting pushed back here. So that is very solid. Very, very solid indeed. We're continuing to hold on this front here and this front. I want to check in on the Canadian front. There should be no change in any of those areas. The African front, I kind of want to tell these guys to attack. I'd like to get this front cleaned up, and limited attacks are okay. The main thing that we don't want here is widespread tank attacks, particularly on this front and this front, where the majority of our tanks are. Okay, Canada has successfully landed here, but it looks like our allies already have that under control. No need to respond to that one. Cool. So we're continuing to push in towards Christiansand. That looks very solid. They are definitely putting up skiff resistance here. No doubt about it. But that's relatively okay. So can we change the priority on receiving tanks here? That would be nice if we could. I think there is a way to do that. So if you go into recruit and deploy, reinforcements are, of course, going to have high priority over everything else. So let's get going on that. We don't need to recruit if we don't have the equipment for them. So we should probably put recruitment on low priority. Well, this is actually going to deployment queue and upgrades. Okay, I'm going to reduce our recruitment. There we go. So that will help matters with our tank production. That'll mean that we need fewer ongoing tanks because we're not expanding our tank capacity nearly as much. We now need about 33,000 tanks. We're absolutely working through that queue. So that seems good. Making progress here is really solid. That puts us in striking range of Christiansand, and that's exactly what we want to be. So that is looking good. In Africa, things are mediocre. Definitely mediocre. Okay. Supplies out here are pretty grim. And that's just because of where we are in the supply hub. Yeah. We could definitely consider motorizing this supply hub. That would help matters some. But that's not the end of the world. Okay, southern Norway. Where is this dangerous naval invasion? You're talking about the one that we're already dealing with? Or these guys? Because this is definitely getting handled at this point. We've got that pretty under control. We just need to continue to push in here. Oh, I see what they're doing. Okay. I'm going to take our infantry unit here. They've landed a second naval invasion here. So we're going to pull our infantry unit out. We're going to put them here. And we're going to offensive line them like that. So get in there. Deal with this. Cool. So, yeah, these naval invasions are obnoxious. No doubt about it. But honestly, I don't think it's worth it for Britain to do these. They've had a lot of stack wipes happening from this. No doubt about that. So we're bringing these infantry over. Do they even have a naval base here? No, they don't. So they have no ability to get supplies here. This is a bad call on their part. We absolutely need to get these troops over, but for now, that's fine. Yeah, supplies over here are rough. And this also means that we don't have our supply zone here being built, right? The supply hub here is not actually under our control. So that is rude, no doubt about it, but they don't have access to any supplies at all. So all of these units are going to end up dying. Every single one of them. Now, we are getting pushed back over here now because we had to respond to this. That's okay. This is a temporary situation. Cool. So we've got these tanks holding this area. Tanks aren't great defensively, of course, and that's reasonably fine. In the Caribbean, there's this dangerous naval invasion. That might actually be a dangerous naval invasion. We have this guy on the way down there. I don't know if he'll get there in time. It doesn't really matter all that much. I'm not too concerned about the Caribbean, to be honest. Okay, so this is all wrapped up at this point. These guys are going to move back over here. Cool. So something along the lines of that. And did that disrupt our supply hub too much? I mean, yes, it did. That construction is completely gone. That is really unfortunate. Well, we'll just have to continue working on it this way. That just is what it is. So we are making some gains in Africa at this moment. Some level of gains. That's fine. We're going to continue to push through here. It's going to be a bit of a grind. That's completely and totally okay. Let's put this force here. There we go. And of course, there's significant problems with supply down in this area. I would love to deal with it, but we just don't really have the capability of doing that right now. So for the moment, we might want to put this attack on ice, or only be attacking with the infantry. But honestly, the infantry are in a defensive position right now. We do see that they're taking attrition here. So that's intriguing. But we're going to need to allow the tanks to recover their organization for a bit here. That's definitely going to need to be a thing. So I think what we need to do is we need to build a supply hub here, or maybe here. No, it should be here. And I'm also going to build one here. And that's going to be connected by a railway that goes down like this. Okay, so we'll get that going, but that is significantly delayed due to their naval invasion. That is very unfortunate for us. However, we are making solid gains up this way now. I believe we just cut off these units, which is huge. Yeah, we'll be arriving up here very shortly. These guys are all cut off now. Look at that. Beautiful. This is pocketed. That is a huge number of forces that's about to get stack wiped. I love it. That's really, really good. We're going to be wrapping up the African campaign shortly here then. That is a grand total of 31 forces there. Beautiful. That is phenomenal. As far as this down here goes, we're just mostly waiting on our supplies coming back in. I suppose we could build land forts here. Not like that. We could build land forts here and just be like, yeah, we're just planning on digging in here and this is fine for the moment. We just need to have a lot of supply hubs built. So land forts are not a terrible concept if we're not planning to be mobile. So that's okay. We're going to continue to attack in these areas and continuing to push the attack over this way as well. No problem whatsoever here. These units are all going to be piled in here and stack wiped. Actually, they're trying to retreat this way. Oh, this is so bad for them. This full force just stack wiped. And they're going to be retreating here. And they're going to stack wipe as they come in. This is really, really bad for them. Okay, so that's phenomenal. We're going to arrive here shortly and overrun all these units. But they did all arrive here, and they're all going to stack wipe. So that looks great. We're seeing them attempting to break out over here unsuccessfully. Did we manage to get any level of land fort built there? Actually, in most locations, we got one level of land fort. Okay, cool. But we're just going to dig in here, and this is fine for now. What we really need more than anything, of course, is tanks. We're down to a deficit of 31,000, so that is making significant progress. Remember, we were at 50,000 when we called a halt to our offensives. So that is definitely making a solid gain. This is completed up here, and I want to check in on supply hubs over here. So we're going to need to certainly upgrade this railway to boost up this supply hub a little bit. That'll be fine. And the supply hub, I'm going to motorize. There are some supply hubs back here that no longer need to be motorized, specifically these three. And that'll be okay. This supply hub is going to be quite overloaded for the time being, but that's fine for now. We're going to boost that up with railways. That won't take too long to build. Railways are, of course, quite quick to build. So that seems fine. Up in Norway, they are not going to be happy with these attacks. And we're just going to hold in Norway at this point until we complete these supply hubs, which is going to be lengthy. Absolutely. We can, at this point, exert heroism and encourage frugality and bolster spirits, which we want to do. We want to get our war support up a bit. Okay, so that looks great. We're still pushing in Africa. We're losing trains to enemy logistics airstrikes. Okay, we should definitely get these fighter wings here. This is way too many forces here. Let's upgrade this airbase. Cannot build airbase in foreign territory. Oh, that's awkward. Okay, so we've got this airbase down over here, this airbase over here. I'm going to get rid of these strategic bomber wings. So we're going to disband those, which... That's hold air wings. It's this button. That's right. I'm going to get rid of these naval bomber wings as well. And then these fighter wings are going to no longer be attempting to reach out over here. I want to pull 300 of them into Western France. I want to pull, actually, only 200. So I'm going to select all of these wings. We're going to move them down over here. We're going to start upgrading some of these air bases, so specifically here and also here. We're going to get those going. So that's fine for now. We pulled most of these forces over here. I'm going to grab... This is 700, 800, 900, and 1,000. I'm going to move them over to this airbase. And these guys are going to be responsible for air superiority over northern France. These guys over southern France. These guys over here, we're going to only need to bring... I'm going to bring one more unit back here. There we go. These guys are going to be over western France. There we go. So we're just going to work on that for a bit. Yeah, these guys are probably going to be a bit hard-pressed here. We may want to have some, like, 500 units heading over to western France here. And that's what we'll do. So that'll be okay for now as far as that air war goes. And yeah, we're dug in nicely over here. We've got this unassigned division. That is going to go in probably here as soon as this autosave is over. Yep, there we go. That'll be fine. And they're having a really hard time breaking out of here at this time, which is fully expected. Absolutely, we expect that. So that looks good. As far as Canada goes, this is a full-on stalemate at this point. They are going to stop attempting to break out over here quite soon because they just can't. There's just too much land fort at this point. We're too dug in. They can't attack into this. So that's all looking good. Our air bases here are going to be improving over time. So that's great. And checking in over at Africa, we're making solid gains here. So we're only looking to advance on one front at a time right now because of our lack of tanks. Our lack of tanks is a significant problem, but it is improving. So that looks good. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to wrap up our African campaign. We'll get these guys redeployed. And after Africa, I'm leaning towards maybe working on Canada. I don't know. It's going to be hard to break through this area. Maybe we'll hold off on Canada and we'll go for, like, France instead. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But you can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadowwolf, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video. And as always, I will see you all next time.